Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ceylon Graphite's channel, the producer of the world's highest grade graphite, advancing the electrified future. We know the demand is around the corner, and this is just such a fascinating story during these tumultuous times. We have the pleasure to be joined, of course, by Chief Executive Officer Donald Baxter. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kyle. Always a pleasure to be here.
Always
Enjoy
a
this.
pleasure. Yeah, always a pleasure to get you back on, trying to get some more insight into what's going on, especially on the ground floor there with your projects in Sri Lanka. I know there's been a lot of tumultuous government, basically just kind of this almost government uprising. You've actually talked and met with some of their staff, and now they have the new president coming in. What can you tell us that's going on the ground floor?
Oh, excellent. I think picking up from our last video we did when I talked about the political situation in Sri Lanka, I think that was a Friday. I think over the weekend, all hell broke loose in Sri Lanka, and the peaceful protesters, sort of stormed and took over the presidential palace and another government building. They didn't wreck anything. They just went in. They went for a swim in the pool, and walked around the palace and toured and just saw how this Gotabaya Rajapaksa was living. So that was the big problem with Sri Lanka, was that the Rajapaksa family was ruling, and they were corrupt and they were stealing, and they basically bankrupted the company. So what had to happen after, when I was speaking about the situation, what had to happen happened. So the Gota Rajapaksa fled the country. He resigned as president, and that was the last sort of thing that had to happen to have everything come to a head. So that has happened. And since then, they had to decide on a new president. And they just did, as of today, in Sri Lanka, they have a new president. It's Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was the prime minister appointed when I was actually there in end of May, early June. So we met with his staff, and so I think with this too, we were on hold to meet with him. There's too much going on that we met. So I think we have a good connection there. So I'm happy about that. He wasn't the people's first choice for president, but I think he's the most seasoned and internationally recognized guy to figure this all out, and he's already in advanced talks with the IMF. So I think this is what had to happen. I think he's the right guy to do this. So we're quite happy about that. Also, we should see a new cabinet announced, and we have another connection in the new cabinet. So I think for Ceylon Graphite, this just gets better for us, and I think mainly too for the people as well too. So I think we're starting to see some, close to end negotiations with the IMF. India is stepping up big time. I think also Japan wanted to see the end of the Rajapaksas, and there's a perception that this Ranil, the new president, was close to the Rajapaksas. That's not really true. He's just been in politics for such a long time. There's an association there. So I think he'll very quickly distance himself there. And again, I think just good for us. We've been in reasonable shape as far as our keeping our people employed and paid. It hasn't been easy because the prices of everything are up, but we've arranged, we have enough fuel to operate. We have explosives ahead. So we're continuing with operations. We've been slow on a couple of external permits we needed, getting signatures. That'll all change. I mean, I'm hoping to have, I've been talking about our second mining permit, which is imminent. And I think now with things settling down, we should see that imminently. So hopefully I can have another positive announcement out soon about that. And we're just going to continue on. We're continuing talks with OEMs. We just sent a sample of our coated spherical graphite to a North American OEM. They're interested in using it. And I had a conversation too with another purchaser of even run of mine graphite. When can you start sending me 200 tons a month? So that's what I'm working on now. I'm looking at committing to when I can start that. So everything is shaping up good. You couldn't tell by the share price or anything like that, but I mean, I'm pretty confident what we're doing, and I see that things will only get better from here. So I think wrapping up Sri Lanka situation, I think is resolving now. It came to a head, and we're going to be well positioned. And I expect to even meet with the new president on my next trip over to Sri Lanka, which is probably early August. And then I think it's a good opportunity for them. We may be a small company, or seem to be a small company there, but just the fact is, here's an international company that's still in Sri Lanka. So it's a good photo op for us and for the new president as well to show that. So I think we'll be, just gets better from here.
So as the political divisiveness kind of cools off here and we kind of move into the second half of this year, if you had to put a timeline on what catalyst investors should be paying attention to most, I know it might be a little hard, obviously some things have been delayed, but what would you say kind of moving forward from a catalyst standpoint?
Well, the main thing is say call it the meat and potatoes of this is mining graphite, processing, hoisting graphite. So is the target. I've said I want it by the end of August. It may be tough to meet that now, but at the end of summer, technically the end of summer is early September. So I'm still pushing for that, and that's the main thing when I say we're starting to consistently hoist graphite out of two mines. As I say, if we have M1, and ironically we may have, we're quicker to graphite in our M1 mine than we are at K1 at the moment. So we are making some adjustments to our scheduling and planning for that. So that's the first one. I think, the very near term, announcing a second mining permit, to have two fully permitted mines at near term production, I think is pretty significant. And then we just continue on. The interest is growing in the battery materials. And just, we're showing how good vein graphite is in a battery. So that's the biggest thing, the catalyst that's keep going. We see companies like Tesla and EV companies, share price going up, but they can't make their batteries without what we're doing. So I think we're just continuing doing what we're doing, keeping our head down and keep moving forward. And the end, the proof will be in the pudding. But I'm confident that we can do that.
Yeah, I feel like the next few months are just getting through the final growing pains, and then we can start looking at some blue skies ahead. But at this point, I'm going to pass the question, as always, off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you guys think in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as news continues to hit the wire here, of course, we're going to update you. But on that note, thanks so much for joining. Stay cool, stay awesome, and we'll catch you in the next one.